May 6th, 2020. Let's see here. Good evening. I call this meeting to order. The time is 6:30 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551. This meeting is officially open with a quorum present. The following board members are in accordance with those suspended rules. We certify the following notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. Number one, although members of the board are not gathered in a central physical location, we do have a quorum in attendance at this meeting by video conference or telephone call. We are meeting use of Zoom software application, which allows two-way communication for members of the public. As well as we would at any in-person meeting, members of the public who have followed the instructions on the meeting notice for registering to speak during the public comment portion of this will be unmuted for 3 minutes to speak. All other meeting procedures will adhere to board adopted procedures to the extent practicable. An audio recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. We apologize in advance for unforeseeable difficulties and ask for your patience as we navigate unprecedented conditions. If you have any questions about the suspended laws, please contact the Office of the Attorney General at 888-672-6782 or by email at toma@oag.texas.gov. We're going to go ahead and jump into item now two, invocation. Chris, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Rocha, will you lead us in a prayer?
Yes, of course. Heavenly Father, as we gather here tonight, we just thank you for the opportunity to come together, Heavenly Father, and we stop to give you thanks for all the blessings that you continue to place over our district. Tonight, Heavenly Father, we ask that you guide Dr. Lea and our board of trustees as they come together to make those critical decisions for our district. Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless them, that you bless the family, and we ask that you bless everybody here and those that are listening through Zoom. Heavenly Father, we ask all of this in Jesus' mighty name, and we say amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and go into number 3, comments from the public. Can anybody register for comments from the public?
None, sir.
All right. We're going to go ahead and go into number 4, superintendent's report. Dr. Rivera?
Yes, board members, I sent you a draft copy of my report. So I'll start with the census. This is very important. It's done every 10 years. We have flyers that we set out during the meal distribution, informing the community where everyone counts, and then with the representation in Congress, and then the monies would be available at the state, the valley, and the district. So we're stating how important the census is and for everyone. Also, what we've done, we've displayed posters that parents can see as they drive up to pick up their meals. We have census banners around the district. We included the census messaging when calling parents about assistance with instructional issues. Teachers and staff have been contacting parents to provide assistance. Teachers have used the class dojo to promote the importance of the census. The open technology building is available to provide assistance. There's a video to promote the census. The 2020 census is present on the district's homepage, either in Spanish or in English. The parent portal has a census message that appears when the parents log in. They upload the video guide to completing the 2020 census online, also in English and Spanish. And the census message appears when parents log in the teacher's grade book. So we're making a lot of efforts trying to get all the citizens of Ed Elsa to be counted. On the next page, I want to go ahead and go over the resolution that the board adopted on March the 18th. I talked to the attorney, Mr. Ben Castillo, and the resolution expired at the end of April. That included the purchasing and premium pay. So beginning this week for the rest of May, all auxiliary staff and hourly employees return to the 8-hour day. The school nurses are available. They're checking all the staff members. The plan is daily to see if they're sick. And also we want to purchase the handheld thermometers to make sure that these are easier for us to use to ensure that no one is sick. We will continue with our teachers. It will work from home or report to work in small groups. The principals told me that the teachers already have a small section in their homes where they're doing their distance learning with our students. So we're going to keep them from home working with our students for the rest of May. All employees that come to work during this time need to wear masks and keep the social distance. Consideration will be given to the employees. One during May, we still have the virus out there spreading. So consideration will be given to employees, those who might be pregnant, those who have medical conditions, those where age might be a factor, and those that might need daycare services. The staff, the custodians, the maintenance will work on the beautification of our school, fix any maintenance needs. The bus drivers will work on their buses, sanitizing them and having videos on safety. The staff at the campuses will assist with registration, very important for next year. They're calling parents, they're working with the package, and they're doing clerical duties. Everyone is assisting during the month of May to begin the new school year. Beginning next week, because all the cafeteria staff are working, meals will be provided at each school. This also allows the principal at every school to communicate with their students and their parents on a daily basis as the lunch is picked up. The following page on the graduation plans for the senior class of 2020. Just yesterday, TA announced that a graduation outdoor ceremony is allowed on or after June the 1st. And to the principal and their staff, we've set it up for Friday, June the 5th at our stadium. The part of the requirements, guidelines from TA is that school districts must cap the number of participants to a level that can be managed in the outdoor venue to maximize social distancing, both during the event and during entry and exit. Prior to attending the ceremony, students and family members must be screened. TA says it can be done through questioning for any possible signs or symptoms of possible COVID-19. Those found with symptoms must be excluded from the activity. Our school board, our parents, our students must still keep the social distancing of 6 feet or more space between participants. We'll have hand sanitizers available at the stadium. One of the guidelines too is that as the board gives out the diplomas, they must be given to you with a person that has gloves and masks. What we're doing right now with our class is that we have yard signs acknowledging the class of 2020. We're going to recognize the top 10 with a shirt and goodie bag delivered home. We have banners to be delivered by the administration. Walmart adopted students, they'll get goodies. We're going to give shirts to all our seniors. And a little bit we're planning, because now since we're using the stadium, we're planning to be something a little bit different, where we use the home side, visitor side. The stage will be on the south side, where the facing at the south side, where the jumbotron can be as the kids get their diplomas. They'll be on the south side facing north. So the parents will be given tickets. And on the ticket it will show where the students will be, whether it's on one side or the other, and some will sit on the visitor side, and then some on the home side. But the stage will be facing on the south side, facing north, and all the chairs will be set aside where is going to be spread out at the stadium where they're 6 feet apart. And maintenance is working on to construct a new stage for the board to sit where you have the 6 feet apart, and we'll have all the board members sit on the stage as well as some of the students. So we don't have all the details planned yet, but this is the plan that we'll have. And again, the parents will get, the stadium holds about 8,000 people. So we'll have to figure out a way how many tickets each senior will receive. So we're working on the plan, but the good thing again is that we're going to have an outdoor ceremony already scheduled for Friday, June. The next page, on page 7, we talked some on the community Wi-Fi internet access options. These are expensive items, but as I told the board earlier, or a few meetings ago, the stimulus funding, we have $3 million available to us. We don't have the money yet, but some of this money can be used as we look at the options for the internet. We talked about options. One might be the parking lot, the upgrades, extend the current infrastructure into the parking lots. The estimate cost that Mr. Torres has given me, Joe Torres, is about $200,000. We're also working on T-Mobile personal hotspots. There's a monthly occur. An example, if we have 1,000 hotspots per month, in a month it'll be $30,000 a year, $360,000. So we're looking at also the hotspots, looking at the school buses. Possibility buses can be parked in school parking lot or at different locations. The WIFI infrastructure upgrade cost for the controller is around $30,000. We're looking at network equipment installed on the buses, approximately $7,000 per bus, times 40 buses, $280,000, and then the monthly recurring cost for the cellular data service. Example, 40 buses at $30 is $12,000 per month, $14,400 annually. We're also looking at the neighborhood Wi-Fi towers, purchase land perhaps for towers or poles, interlocal agreements with the city for Wi-Fi installation in parks, purchase controller, access points, repeaters, for equipment, signal strength. Sometimes it's limited by surrounding buildings. We had a meeting this week with the county discussing possible options for Wi-Fi's in rural areas. So we're addressing the Wi-Fi's district-wide. And again, when we go into these options, we'll look at the stimulus monies that we have, the $3 million that we're going to receive soon. On the next page, we're addressing during the month of May, during May, June, and July and August, we're looking to purchase, and it'll be at the next board meeting, to purchase a new marquee for David Ibarra. It's very important that our 5th graders go to this school next year, not go elsewhere. We're also, between now and when school starts, we're going to get a new fence for Ibarra. That'll be the first one. And then after that, we'll look at the College and Career Center and the Fine Arts. We're working this week to repair the roof at the high school north. We're still looking for the canopy at RCR. We're going to resurface some of the parking lots and need repairs, fix what's broken, increase in our schools. We're going to add a lot of sanitizing stations, any repairs that are needed at the Ag Barn, and district-wide security cameras. We want to add the plexiglass shields in our cafeterias and our offices to ensure safety, and we want to update the audio system in the boardroom. The last slide that I have is a little bit of information on what we're doing with the instructional process. The grades, Ms. Rocha and I met with the principals, and with the principals told us that they're going to assign grades for the 56 6 weeks. They have a formula that they're using. In summer school, we plan a 3-week virtual summer school that will begin in June. We're going to identify the students with the greatest needs. Curriculum writing, we're doing some. The principals have told me that during the teachers, some of them are working from home, from school, and some of them, the principals are okay with some of them working on the curriculum. The May student instruction, the principals again will allow teachers to continue working from home or bring the staff to school in small groups. We're working very hard with the registration. We feel that with this virus, we want to get all our students back. And I'm hoping that we do not have less students than last year, because that will affect our finances and our staffing. The awards, we're going to continue with awards. Students will receive their awards at the end of the year. And we've ordered 2,000 Chromebooks. They were ordered and they have been received. And we're going to use them for summer school as we start the new school year. Again, all efforts are being made to ensure that our 5th grade students enroll in David Ibarra Middle School next year. I will be sending a letter to our current 5th graders, informing them and their parents about all the good programs available in David Ibarra Middle School, and also a letter to the 8th graders wanting for them to enroll at our high school and not go elsewhere. This is my report, Mr. President, board members. Do you have any questions on any of these slides?
Thank you, Doctor. Any questions for the doctor?
My only question is on the curriculum writing. Are the teachers being compensated for the curriculum writing, or is it still with what they're doing right now, teaching and?
They're doing the work right now during the school day. The principal told me that this is sufficient. However, if they tell me that they did not finish, then we're going to be looking at the summer and compensate them to do the summer writing during June. But we'll do both as needed.
Okay.
All right, Doctor. Any questions? Then we'll go ahead and go into number 5, consent agenda items. There's an item there, approval of payment for the BSN Sports and outstanding invoice. I guess Coach Navarro, you're on the line with us. Could you give us just a quick update on this issue?
Yes, sir. Because of the COVID, sir, we had several items that were pending to be paid. Usually what we do is that we do not pay out until we go ahead and receive every single one of the items. There were several sports that we went ahead and owed money to. In savings in mind, I know that a lot of the coaches like to go ahead and use the same vendor. That we use BSN for the same reason, because they usually go ahead and give the coaches back. For example, I know a certain team bought uniforms this year. They were able to go ahead and get so many bats or so many balls for free. So that's why we went ahead and went with the same vendor. Unfortunately, due to the fact that the COVID came by, we were out. We couldn't pay. Therefore, it accumulated. There were several sports that we hadn't paid out because we were waiting to receive all of the items. We received some items actually today and yesterday from this same bill. So we were just waiting to receive everything before we went ahead and told Ms. Garza to go ahead and pay them off.
All right. Anybody have any questions on the consent items?
Is all of this budgeted for? Is it still within the budget for our?
Well, I'll be very honest with you, sir. There was one or two sports because of the, if you remember the torrential rainfall that we had last year, I had to go, it was budgeted to a certain point, but I had to go ahead and take money from the football budget to pay for some of these items. I know that both baseball and softball lost all of their equipment. If you recall, they do have mobile minis out there. So I went ahead and hurt the football program because of it. But at the end of the day, I know that speaking to Dr. Rivera, he went ahead and always provides us what we need.
Because on the agenda it says it exceeds 50,000, but is it a lot more than 50?
No, sir. Actually, it should be around 49,000. I don't think it was 50.
Okay.
Now, one thing I want to mention, I know I've been made aware of, Dr. Rivera, maybe for the next budget cycle, I know wrestling doesn't have a budget, correct? Is that still true?
Yeah, yes, sir. Usually what we do is that whenever we're doing our budget, I go ahead and develop a line item for each sport, and I break it down to subsections to where we have uniforms, then I have referees, travel, playoffs, meals, buses, and they didn't. We had it before with Dr. Rivera. When he left, it was taken away. So I had to use again the biggest budget that we have, which is a football one. And I use the football monies once more to help out those other programs. But I know that I spoke to Dr. Rivera, and he said that we will go ahead and get together along with Syria to go ahead and
Okay. Doc, so just again, I mean, just to make sure that in the next budget cycle, all those items or all that's kind of already, you know, budgeted in there, so that we don't have to be dipping into other programs and then we come up with this issue again.
Doc, what I'd like to see is Coach Novato present his budget during the budget formulation process that we have over the summer, and just do a item by item check off of what's going on over there.
We can do that.
Normally he submits kind of the same budget, but certain sports grow, some decline, and I know he needs to make certain adjustments. But if during the budget process he could present to us, I would appreciate it.
We can do that, yes.
All right. Well, if there's not any other questions on the consent agenda items, anybody else? If not, I'd like to make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Oh, there.
There's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Marco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, Doc, let's go to number 6, discussion action items. A, discussion action item seeking proposals for the playground equipment for elementary schools, including using cooperative vendors. Doctor?
Yes. We're aware that our playgrounds are in bad shape. So the item that we have here is not explain where we'll get the money to pay for this, but it's in two. We have two options. One option is to go with the proposal bidding process. The second option is to go with purchase directly from the cooperative vendor. The first option, the proposal bidding process, would require the assistance of an architect to develop, do the specifications, and do the advertising. The second option is to go directly from a cooperative vendor, and this would eliminate the proposal and bidding process. The administration, if the board wants to go this way, will give 3 quotes to make a price analysis. So the agenda is to go either with the proposals, bidding process, or go directly to the cooperative vendor. On the next page, I want to show you the playground. We got one of the buy board vendors, and this is a sample of what one of the 3 bids would be. This is the elementary playground for grades 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this playground, again, is a sample from a buy board. And the playground would include a spinner, a roller table, merry-go-round, a swing set. And this one in particular, when we ask for the quotes, we're going to ask them to make sure that it addresses the diversity of students and those with special needs. It'll be on a rubber-based padding to soften the landing, and the playground area would be about 100 feet by 69 feet. So we'll do this either, again, through proposals or go directly to a buy board. The second slide shows a playground equipment for Gutierrez early childhood. And this one is based for small kids, 3 and 4-year-olds. And this one again is a sample of a buy board. The playground setup includes the playground island along with multiple interactive stations with swing sets, and then 2 for special needs students. And again, designed to address diversity of students and special needs children. And the playground is a little smaller, 70 by 85. So the agenda item is for the board to consider going, as I mentioned, with the proposal bidding process or go directly to a cooperative vendor. So I need guidance from the board as to which of these options you want to take. The attorney is available to see if you have any questions on the procedures.
Doc, I have a question. Doc, are we going to get playground systems for the 4 elementaries and JRG?
Yes, 5 in all.
Full of 5.
5 in all, yes.
And all inclusive, you know, you just mentioned it's going to service all the children.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Doc, I guess, well, you kind of answered my question. I want it's very, you know, to me, it's very, you know, I want to make sure they're all inclusive, not just, you know, meeting ADA standards. I'd really like to see, you know, again, and I know they know what they're doing, and you know what, I just like to make sure they're all inclusive. I want to see kids, especially being able to use those playgrounds. And I know if we do that, we'll be the only school district in Region 1 that would have every single elementary school with all inclusive playgrounds. So I think that'd be, you know, that'd be say a lot about us as a district.
That's the plan for us to include that in the quote that we get. And now, the last slide that before I forget, I had one more slide to show you how to pay for this. Well, the next one, or the next slide shows the surfaces. A few months ago, what the board wanted to do is go with the synthetic rubber turf. Because we have the 2 options, the grass turf and then the rubber turf. So the options that will show the board will be for both. Now, how are we going to pay for this? This is on the last slide that I have, if the money is available for the district needs. Remember a while back, a few months ago, I told the board that we had 3 accounts. We had sufficient money in there, a lot of money, and it was just in the accounts. For the self-funded unemployment allowed, we had in the account, total amount was $520,000. The self-funded workers' compensation, we had it budgeted $3 million. From SHARS, we had $1,538,000. So earlier I told the board that possible use would be to use $3 million from these 3 funds, and it would still leave about $2.1 million left. From these monies, we've already spent $882,000 to pay the existing loans. Remember 2 meetings ago, you all allowed me to go back and pay the turf and track loan, the Jumbotron, the Rio radios, the Musco lighting. So now we have two loans left. So the $3 million, we're going to be using $882 to pay the loans. And then the elementary gyms, about $180,000. And the fence at Ibarra, I don't have a figure yet. And then the new marquee. So from the $3 million, we're going to use these projects. And then from this money, possibly maybe use a little more from the money left over, the $2.1 million. And from this, we're able to pay for the 5 playgrounds in our schools. This is how we would pay for it. Monies that we already have in the budget in these accounts.
Perfect. Hey, well, if nobody has any objections, Doc, to be honest with you, I'd like to make a motion to go by board. I mean, just because it's the quickest thing the cooperative. I mean, does anybody object to that? I'd like to go by board just to get this out of the way. I know it'd be great to have this done and completed by the next school year, so the kids show up and it's a brand new playground system for them there. So again, I'd like to make a motion to go by board.
Hey, Rolly, real quick on the style of the playground where you're making it inclusive. Is there anybody within our district who can kind of speak up for our students as to whether or not the design that is being selected? I know that right now we haven't selected which, or is that really the actual playground and how it's going to look?
Well, no, it's my understanding that those are just samples. I haven't seen one, to be quite honest with you, but there's not very many, as to what I've understood here, there's not a lot of designs that are all inclusive. There's like 3 or 4 different designs that are all inclusive. One including like a swing for a wheelchair.
That's what I was looking at. Because in the one that they selected for the elementary, all the swings, they're just normal swings. I didn't see anything
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to make sure that Doc's aware and everybody else is aware that I really want to make sure it's all inclusive, making sure we have a swing for a wheelchair, stuff like that. But I think we can knock that out, during the process. But yeah, again, I think there's only 3 or 4 times.
Especially if some of the money's going to come out of the SHARs, then it would be great for all of them to be all inclusive and to have all the amenities for the children.
Yeah.
All right. So
I second motion. I second Rody's motion for approval.
Can I include something in there? One thing I was noticing is the canopies. We make sure that we have enough space, or canopies are big enough, especially during the hot months, where children can utilize the playground equipment instead of being out in the sun, because those are plastic and they get so hot that some will not be able to use them. So when you're looking at items that we're going to buy, can we make sure that there's enough, the canopies are big enough to cover, if not all, a good portion of those the playground equipment?
Yeah, I agree with Tony. I think it's important to protect the investment we're about to make.
Definitely.
Yes, but please remember that what I showed you is just one sample. We're going to get 3 quotes, and then we'll have maybe a workshop with the board to show you the different things before we make a decision. So the plan is either to go ahead and come to the board for the May board meeting, or possibly the June board meeting with a recommendation for the playground equipment.
But we're going to go by board, right?
I still want to get 3 quotes, because the amount here is going to be maybe
okay
for all 5. So I want to make sure that we get comparing apples to apples and get the best deal for the district.
That's good practice. That's a good practice.
It's not just installation though. What about removal of the old system? Is that something that also needs to be included in that, or is that something that we're going to do in-house? And are we capable of doing it in-house?
Well, the plan really was to leave the ones that we have for the time being, and just go ahead and go with a new one entirely.
Okay.
And leave the ones that we have right there until later, but not use them.
Okay.
So was that answer in-house, or I didn't catch that?
It was to leave them there.
Yes.
We're going to leave them there.
Yeah, they're relocating the new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good too.
I want to have Mr. Castillo, just for clarification, to make sure that we're okay getting even though it's still get 3 quotes.
Yeah, that's just good practice. But Mr. Lozano, if I could get clarification on your motion and on the second, when you say buy board, you just mean a purchasing in general, right?
Correct. Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
That's okay. It's like Kleenex now with buy board and all that stuff. But just so the record's clear, it doesn't have to be specifically from buy board. It can be from any purchasing quality.
Correct. Yes.
All right.
All right, then there was a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Smallstreet. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, now we're going to go ahead and go into closed session. Number 7, the superintendent requests that the Board of Trustees convene a closed meeting as authorized by the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. This executive session is in accordance with the Texas Government Code 551.074 for purpose of discussion, personal, considering employment, resignation, retirement, evaluation, or reassignment. B, consultation with legal regarding any pending contemplated litigation, settlement offers, or matter of which the duty of the attorney of Eka Chelsea ISD and the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State of Texas. It is now 7:05. We are in executive session, gentlemen. Thank you. 8:06 in the evening. We're back from executive session. We're going to go ahead and go into item 8. Discussion of possible action regarding personnel considering appointment, employment, resignation, retirement. Doctor?
You have the list as discussed in closed session. Recommend.
So move.
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Mr. Lozano, second by Mr. Barco. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. B, discussion action regarding legal consultation. Doctor or Ben?
No action on this one.
Action, yes.
All right. Then we're going to go to number 9, adjournment.
So right before we adjourn, I just want to congratulate RCR, Madi, and her staff and everybody over there for a great parade yesterday. Second, the motion.
I also want to say thank you to all the teachers for Appreciation Week. I know we couldn't recognize all of them like we normally do, but I want to recognize all of them.
And I'd like to also recognize the staff, as Doctor mentioned, for putting in the hours to help get this taken care of during this time.
Yeah. Thank you, administration, as well, all the administrative staff. Thank y'all.
It's a tough time. It's a tough time for everybody, but we'll get the job.
Thank you from me to everybody. Thank you.
All right. There was a motion. It was second. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.